my main goal, I'm in a 90-yard sprint to help one of our new people get their first $1,700 in deposits into your bank account from protecting families. So if you are new, trying to get your processes down and running, as many appointments as you can in the beginning, then in your intro, step one of the trail to sale, you're going to mention, hey, I'll get a quick snapshot of everything and be able to point you in the right direction. Really just narrow down 40 different insurance companies down to one or two, figure out who has the best rate for you. I've got a team of product specialists on standby in the main office. I'll probably put a call into them. They can see every single different insurance company, make sure that we find the best thing for you that would approve you and who has the best rate. And then you guys can take that and design whatever you want. So if all that's fair enough, I'm going to get a quick snapshot of everything. That way I can make sure I'm pointing you in the right direction. And now you transition into step 3 of the trail to the sale, the client worksheet. One of the most vital and important tools that you will have starting this venture. I mean, your ability to turn appointments into filled out applications and closing a deal with a client, helping them figure out what they need and what they want for their family. That's going to be what pays you. Now, if this is your first, 10, 15 appointments or so, you're going to be following the first 3, 4 steps of the trail to sale, and you're going to be sending your manager the client worksheet. So it's very important that you know how to fill it out. And I'm going to give you some tips of what order to fill it out to minimize the objections you get, or just make it a very smooth process as you're collecting this information. Let's pull up a client worksheet. I'm going to kind of go over the format with you first, and then we'll get into more specifics, give you some different things that you can practice in your downtime to help you. Okay. So here's the client worksheet that you'll be filling out at every single appointment. There's actually an order that we want to do this in. I have found that if you start with things that you know, whenever you ask someone a question, if you already have some information, there's not going to be much pushback on getting more information. So rather than starting with the top and, hey, Bob, how much money do you make a month? Well, what do you need to know that for? I just wanted a quote, right? That's what you're going to hear. So let's start with what we know. If you have the lead, you have some of this information. So this is number one. You'll put in their mortgage amount right here, 150,000. This is step one, the information you already have. Okay. Number two of most importance is current life insurance. Okay. So, hey, if they already have, $5 million of life insurance, what do they need mortgage protection for? They should have enough money to pay off the house and leave Cindy with money. So we want to figure out how much life insurance they have. So this is number two, current life insurance. Then we go up to number three. The next thing that we're going to ask about is the income. And there's a certain way you want to ask that. Hey, Nick, do you have multiple sources of income, or is everything from your job? Okay, so everything's from the job. Okay, what do you think your roundabout bring home pay after taxes, after they, take everything out for health insurance, that thing? What is your check for usually? Is that every 2 weeks, or is that once a month? Calculate that out for them, and then, fill that out here, $3,800 just on Nick. And then you'll go to Cindy and do the same thing. The total here, because what we're trying to figure out is what kind of income does Nick have when he dies? How much of that total is going to be left for Cindy? Usually it's just this 1,800. And then on $1,800, if they have two kids, whatever their case is, and they have an $1,100 mortgage payment, can Cindy still make the mortgage payment, take care of two kids, still get groceries, light bills, gas, cell phones, insurances, internet, the rest, right? So that's going to be, that's where you're wearing more of a consultant hat. You're not selling them anything. You're just, through asking good questions, figuring out what the situation is that they're currently in, and then where do they want to be. So, in short, when you're looking at a client worksheet, what is the order? Number one, number two, how much life insurance do they currently have? Then the income breakdown and totals, okay? And then the last thing, the final takeaway. Now, unfortunately, not everyone can get exactly what they want, due to prior health exams. The insurance companies don't know anything about you. So, Nick, I would be signing off on a recommendation on your behalf to whatever company has the best rate or whoever you want to go with. If we send them a request, they're going to look at a couple things right off top. They're going to look at your motor vehicle report. You have anything going on there? No DUIs or anything? Okay, perfect. They're going to look at, have you ever been declined insurance due to failing a health exam? Very good, very good. The main thing they're going to look at, Nick, is your prescription history report. So they're going to see every single thing that you fill at a pharmacy. It needs to match what I told them. If it doesn't match, they're going to kick it out. Okay. So that's the fourth thing, and that's what you're going to fill out before you set up the phone call, before you send your manager the client worksheet. So, one of the most effective things that you can do if you're preparing to run your appointments is, first of all, focus on the first one, two, three, four steps of the trail of sale. The more practice that you put in, and the more you can effectively, know how to log in and fill out an electronic application or ask the health questions or fill out a client worksheet, if you already know how to do these things, that's going to be less pressure on you. You're not going to be sitting with a client thinking about how to fill out a client worksheet. You're going to already know how to fill out the client worksheet and be able to spend more of your energy communicating, looking at body language, and actually, trying to help move the ball down the field. So I would highly encourage you to, you know, pull up your leads and kind of theoretically fill one of these client worksheets out and figure out, okay, what are my tools? What do I need to do to figure out where the policy is? Like find the policy by looking at the information on the client worksheet and figure out what company to write, from an underwriting standpoint and just a situational standpoint of what makes the most sense. So that's what we're going to do now. I'll pull up some leads here. I got one here. Let's see. So here's one. So Nick Adams, Rocket Mortgage. They got $124,200 mortgage. He's 60, she's 52. Okay. Since we don't have her name, I'm just going to guess and say, hey, her name is Cindy, right? So let's fill one out together, and this would be a good practice thing that you can do on your own time if you have nothing else to do that's income producing, like making phone calls and logging into the websites, these sorts of things. This is something that you can do to get yourself in position to win. All right, so we've got Nick, Cindy. We're going to start with what we know. They've got a $124,000 mortgage. That's a 30-year note. We're going to assume they will correct you if you're wrong. Okay. Okay. So Nick, 124,000 with Rocket Mortgage, 30-year note. What is the monthly mortgage payment on that with everything combined? It's about $984. Okay. So you guys have, lived here a long time. This is a refinance. What if you sold the place? What do you think you could sell it for? And then we'll say that's 224,000 is what it appraises for, or what he thinks he can sell it for. In this case, that would give us $100,000 worth of equity. Whatever that is, do the math and keep moving. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is current life insurance. Now, it's important how you word this question, okay? Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I already got life insurance. Well, they already had life insurance before they filled out the form or sent in a request for us to come help them with their mortgage, okay? So don't even register that. We just want to get the information. And here's how you ask the question. Nick, what do you have outside of work, right? So where do you work again? You work at Maytag factory, whatever. Okay. Okay. So I'm sure you guys have some employee benefits through work. They give you some life insurance, health insurance, 401k, all that stuff. So I know you've got some life insurance for work. And I always encourage people to take advantage of that, but understand how it works. Right now, your employer, Maytag, owns a policy. Now, you and all of your coworkers are insureds of this master policy, but only while you are employed there. Okay. If you don't work there anymore, you're not covered. So it's great insurance to have while you're employed there. Unfortunately, usually, as you know, right? I mean, usually when someone dies, it's because they've been sick for a while, unless it's just a freak thing, car wreck or something. I've only had one person that was still employed at their job when they died. Usually, if you're sick enough to die, you've been sick for a while, you're probably not working anymore. And if you're not working anymore, whenever you pass away, then you're no longer covered by your insurance. So kudos for setting that up. What do you have outside of work that you have as far as current life insurance that you own? That no matter what, working, healthy, not working, whatever, would kick in for Cindy and the kids. So, whatever it is, $50,000. Okay. Who is that with? How long uh, is left on that policy? These are the things that you want to figure out. If they know, hey, how much are they paying for it? How long ago did they get it? That sort of thing. If all of their coverage is through work, then we're just going to put on here a big fat zero. That means they have no coverage. Then we'll repeat the process. Hey, Cindy, outside of work, not including your employee benefits, what do you have that you own as far as current life insurance? Okay, perfect. So then we'll go to step 3. And now, since we've gone through all of this, they're not going to hesitate on the income question because you've built enough rapport now. So, the way to ask this question is, Nick, do you have multiple sources of income or is everything from your job? Well, everything's from my job. Okay. So, you're going to write job here. If they have Social Security, pensions, VA, disability, whatever that is, you're going to list that out and itemize it out and then total it up. Because what we're trying to do is figure out how much of this income, if you die, is going to continue to come in, if any, right? If it's from a job, then, hey, Nick, what happens to you if you stop working? Like, what happens to that income? It's gone, right? But you've got to ask them those questions, not tell them. So if it's from a job, what do you think your roundabout, monthly income is after taxes? Do you get paid every 2 weeks? If they get paid every 2 weeks, just pull your calculator out and do the math times two, or weekly or monthly or whatever. In this case, we're going to say that Nick makes $4,000, and that's all from his job. Okay. Cindy, uh, she's got a part-time job. She makes about $1,500 from her job. Okay. And Cindy is 52. Okay. So while we're both alive and working, we've got about $5,500 collectively coming in household income. Now we take that $5,500, we pay $1,000 mortgage payment and, car insurance and cell phones. And if you're like me, a lot of other groceries, right? A lot of different stuff. So if something happens to you, Nick, what happens to this $4,000? Like, oh, that would be gone, right? Okay. Was there anything else that would kick in? Or if something happens to you, Nick, Cindy, you have this $1,500 if you're still, healthy and working, right? Is there anything else that I would know of? No. Okay. Cindy, is there any way that you could make a $984 payment, still pay $1,000 on your $1,500, go from $5,500 to $1,500 a month, and still take care of the kids, pay the light bills, groceries, car notes, insurance, all of this stuff? So this is where you go in and to drive the why. Watch some other videos about driving the why, but this is where you would drive the why. Okay, now after you've driven the why, you go back to the client worksheet here and you do the final takeaway. So now that they've explained to you exactly what they want things to look like, right now, this is how things look. If Nick dies, I got $1,500 coming in. Can't make a mortgage payment very long. I can't pay all my bills. So you would lose the house. Yes. Is that what you want? No. Okay, Nick, what would you want to look like for Cindy and the kids if you die? Well, I want them to be taken care of. I want them to at least have a house. Okay. Guys, hey, I respect you for this. I'll do everything in my power to help you accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Okay. Now, there's a lot of different insurance companies. They all have different criteria for who they will or who they won't approve. I would be signing off on a recommendation on your behalf, Nick, to whatever insurance company you wanted, whoever had the best rate, whatever. Okay. Now, they don't know anything about you. So if we send them a request, they're going to look at a couple things right off top because you're not doing blood work or doctor's visits. They're going to look at number one, your motor vehicle report. Are we good there? No DUIs, nothing? Okay, perfect. Have you ever been declined insurance due to failing a health exam? Okay, good. Main thing they're going to look at, Nick, is your prescription history report. Okay, so what are they going to see? They're going to see everything that you fill, and it needs to match what I told them you're taking. So, what kind of prescriptions do you have to fill on a monthly basis? Blood pressure, cholesterol, what? And then you will list out each one. Say he takes lisinopril for blood pressure. He takes, atorvastatin for cholesterol, and hey, maybe he has diabetes, metformin. Okay, so with diabetes, you're going to ask, hey, how old were you when you got diagnosed? At what age? Do you take insulin? What is your last A1C? What is your average blood sugar? Okay, you get all this information down, and you say, look, I've got a couple ideas that I think could work for you, but like I mentioned before, I've got a team of product specialists that are in the office. They will look at every single different insurance company out there and just make sure we find the best possible company that would approve you with diabetes or blood pressure. Make sure we find the best rate for you. And then you guys can take that rate, design whatever you want. I'll show you some ideas and I'll just help you accomplish whatever you want help with. Fair enough? And then, boom, you make the call into the product specialist team and talk to me or Christian or whoever your manager is, and we'll be able to help from there. So I really hope that helps. I really encourage you to, pull up your and print off your first stack of leads that you're going to be dialing. And, if you're not working on anything else that's going to make you money, just walk through those leads, fill out client worksheets, do it in the right order, get really good at filling those out properly to where we can properly help you. And we have the information that we need in order to do so. Just make up different, prescriptions or health problems, and you can take that, look at the underwriting grids, and try to figure out for yourself, which company would be best for them, and then practice running quotes, practice showing them options. You're going to learn this stuff one way or the other. Most of us learned it by just getting our butts kicked, but man, in hindsight, I really wish I would have taken the time to just kind of do some practice like that. That way I wouldn't have to think about which company and how to fill out a client worksheet and all of these things. And I could have spent more of my time connecting and really communicating and listening to what the clients were saying and helping them get the best thing for them. So employ these things, work on yourself, sign up for the next meeting, get a ticket, whatever you have to do, invest in yourself. We'll see you on the leaderboard.